These collages are highlighting how Blackpool is tailored and functions towards tourism for family and children, with activities that provide quick money, that aid the economic growth and the mass consumption that Blackpool relies upon. Blackpool's motto is progress and that nothing stands still in this town. Blackpool's history shows its idea of progression is to just demolish and rebuild, to keep up with the demands of economic gain, competition with other coastal towns, and the tourism interests. There is little regard to the local heritage unless it's going to provide a tourist attraction. Many historic buildings still standing have lost characteristics like spires and domes due to the poor upkeep and maintenance. My Urban Room asks, how can we repurpose existing buildings with a more than human approach to generate a future language and interaction with heritage sites? The Urban Room is situated inside a Grade 2 listed building, an old picture house, and is part of a 300 million regeneration scheme where it will become an artisan cafe. Lots of restoration is needed due to its decade-long vacancy. It was once considered a place of innovation, where your experience in the building meant questioning and challenging the happenings of the world, and this was achieved through the functions of film, places of gathering, talks, music, and physical production. The Urban Room will highlight and celebrate this heritage through these various mediums, but challenging the current thought process of humans and non-human life in shared spaces. Various plants and flowers will be accommodated in the Urban Room, and their primary function would be as a food supply and aiding the life of the animals. Their secondary function is that they can be harvested for consumption, material exploration, and enjoyment in the social spaces. Enhancement of the use of the natural element of water, to which everyone relies upon. An innovative water feature highlights the many functions and uses that water can provide, while aiding the animals and plants in the building. There are 5 elements: water, collection point, distribution, irrigation, music, and play. The living section shows how the building has been adapted to cater for the animals through the vertical zones. The placement of zones was considered sensitively so that they won't be interfered with by humans. This is done by the bats and the birds having completely separate zones in the roof, and a fine mesh is used to stop the interference of humans, but also works as a safety measure for the deteriorating barreled ceilings. The butterflies have a vertical element above ground that allows them to lay their eggs and for caterpillars to grow safely out of human reach. The pond encompasses areas which provides for the whole life cycle of a frog, from hidden nesting spots to laying eggs and to the tadpole growth. The openings in the ceiling create lots of light into the interior space to aid the growth of the plants and flowers, but also to keep the pond a warm temperature for the life within to thrive. The aims and goals of the Urban Room is to educate and become a place of community collaboration for people to come and identify and challenge the ingrained patterns and thoughts of nature, and to reframe these ideas to show and understand how we're a part of nature and the web of life rather than a separate entity. This is achieved through conversations with specialists, workshops, interactive spaces that highlight the key aspects of life and nature which we are surrounded by. In my future scenario, a fracking issue occurs and the water contamination is so severe that everyone has to evacuate Blackpool, and it's not safe enough to re-enter for 10 years. At this point, non-human life has completely taken over, and it's time for the human species to be re-entered into the ecosystem. I will be exploring symbiogenesis, the living together of organisms of different species that emerge through convergence and become something new together through a cooperative interaction. This is the new era called Symbiocene, which is living together for mutual benefit.